Hi, I'm Shaun Alexander. Most of y'all know me from being a running back in the National Football League. It's funny, my whole life has been about running hard, running to score the touchdown, running to make the big play, running to win the game. But then it comes to my life with God, and that's about walking the walk, being intimate with Jesus. Him talking and me listening, that's what the walk's really about. It's about an intimate relationship. Not Jesus, you go way up there and I'll watch you from afar and hope that I can follow the right steps. And not me running way out in front and hoping that Jesus follows me and hears me when I cry for him, but a walk. Us together, hand in hand, him talking, me listening, me asking questions and him answering. That's what the walk's about. And in my book, The Walk, I explain 5 stages of God's perfect order, and that God is a God of order and he has a way that he does things. It's the greatest adventure that you'll ever have. The walk, 5 stages: the unbeliever, the believer, the example, the teacher, the imparter. I love how everybody starts off on the same place as being an unbeliever. You either wander or you wander. And a wanderer is a person that just kind of floats around aimlessly. You could either be that person that just kind of goes aimlessly walking with life, or you can be a wanderer, which is a person who knows that there's a calling on their life. They know that there's success written all on them. They know that there's gifts inside them and a passion for something, but they wonder what it's for, who it's for, and they wonder how it's going to get there. And then they start to wonder, what is the big picture for everything, and where am I in life? The wanderer or the wanderer, they're both unbelievers, because once you grab a hold that there is a great creator, there is a God that's above all gods, and he designed everything, even us, to have something that is full and to the fullest, which is life. That's when you become a believer. And a believer is a person that simply believes Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And that's what a believer is. God says, hey, now let's walk. And from the walking of the believer, you get to the next stage, which is an example, which is a person who starts to submit and give every part of their life to Christ. Every part to the way that Jesus told us how to live. Every way to being obedient to the Bible in the ways of Jesus. As you go from an unbeliever to a believer to an example, you finally get to the next stage, which is a teacher. And a teacher is not necessarily a pastor or an evangelist or a person that travels around writing books and doing things like that. A teacher is simply one who can explain why they believe what they believe. Then the next stage after the teacher is the imparter. And the imparter is the person that simply walks in a way where God says, I've chosen you to have a great impartation of my presence on this atmosphere. And sometimes it turns into great prophetic words, and sometimes it turns into healing. But every time the imparter walks in the room, he shifts the atmosphere. He brings God's presence. And that is an amazing thing to be an imparter. The unbeliever, the believer, the example, the teacher, and the imparter, they're all needed for God's crazy world that he's created. And in those 5 steps, there's so many questions asked. Does God really hear you? Can you really talk with God? Can you really walk in a new life? Can you really impact other people's lives? How do you impact other people's lives? Who's going to help you grow in your walk and in your maturity and in your growth with Jesus? All these questions are answered in the book, The Walk. The 5 stages are an amazing revelation that God gave me when I was just praying. That God said, Shaun, I'm a God of order. And when you get in order, you will launch a great life with trials and traps and victories and exciting adventure and true love and true understanding that with God, anything's possible. And that's what the walk is about. It's about going in this new stage of life, going into this new understanding of who God's called you to be and who God has called us all to eventually do, which is walk so intimately with him that we can't help but let our light shine to the world. God said there'll be greater things that you will do than the things that I even did. Let's walk the walk together.